an outbreak declared 4 days ago, 15 cases at another bar in our downtown, and I just was hoping I could get, sort of your reaction. Is that cool?
Sure, absolutely.
So just what does that say to you? 2 outbreaks declared in a matter of days, both in the same type of setting.
Well, it tells me that that's exactly what we know about this disease, is that the settings in which people congregate indoors without masks are the settings that we are going to see outbreaks happening. Especially true for the Delta variant, which is hyper-transmissible and takes no prisoners. So if you are indoors in an unventilated environment without wearing a high-quality mask, and especially if you are unvaccinated, chances are you're going to be exposed to this disease, and a certain proportion of people exposed are going to become infected. So none of this is surprising, especially since we opened up the bars while the vaccination rates were relatively low in my mind.
Right. So is that, would you have, right. So with the vaccination rates being as low as they were when bars were opened, it wouldn't surprise you that COVID cases have developed.
That's right, especially since we're not restricting unvaccinated people from being inside the bars. If the gatherings were done on the patio, it would be much safer, not perfectly safe, but much safer. And if there was, a masking mandate when you're not drinking your drink, that would be safer as well. But it's not surprising. I mean, like Delta, it looks like it might be the most contagious respiratory virus we've seen in decades.
Right.
Which is, a staggering and sobering observation to make. And if that being the case, it is not surprising that if you spend a significant amount of time indoors with strangers, one of whom might be carrying this disease, then everybody else will become exposed. It's like chickenpox. Remember chickenpox parties?
I do.
Yeah, that's exactly how that works. And by one observation, Delta might be as contagious as chickenpox. Probably isn't. Probably a little bit less contagious. But if you can lock a bunch of kids indoors for a couple hours and get everybody infected, you can lock a bunch of adults indoors and be infected by this as well.
Right. So there's really, you referred to patios. You said that would be much safer, but not, 100% safe. But really, in a setting like that, in a bar, it as you said, it's not surprising. It's
not surprising. Look, you have to distinguish though between exposure and infection. It's a very high chance of being exposed. That doesn't mean you're going to be infected, but it's looking like you've got a good chance of being infected as well.
Right.
I mean, there's a reason everybody in the bar wasn't infected, just someone.
Right. I know with one of the outbreaks, the first one, I know that there was an indoor gathering beforehand, before a group of people went to the bar. So, that might have played a role too.
It might have. It depends on the filtration system in the bar. If they've got a high quality HEPA filter, windows open, a lot of movement of air, it's possible that a previous gathering could have released aerosolized viral particles into the air that lingered for several hours, and then a new crop of people come in, breathe in those particles. That's the insidious nature of this disease, is you've got different cohorts of people moving through the same enclosed environment. It's unclear who was the index case.
Right. I'm just wondering if you, would have any cautions. Just the health unit today. I can read you. The Associate Medical Officer of Health said, "We know that the age groups attending these places have lower vaccination rates, and the Delta variant is circulating widely among this demographic." I just wondered, is there a caution here for where Western University is going to have in-person classes, and we're going to have students returning, and I just wondered, is there a lesson here to be learned?
That's a really interesting question. Yeah, there's a lesson here, and the lesson here is take this seriously and push vaccination as hard as you can, especially in this demographic. Given the timing is not ideal. It's never good, but now with the impending opening of schools and universities, the timing is particularly not good. And with, as you note, the opening of schools, typically that comes with a rush into the bars for the first couple of months. And if we're going to see increased transmission in the bar environment and a slow uptake on vaccines early in the semester, even given the vaccine mandate that the schools now have, there's going to be a period of special vulnerability in the early fall.
I know that, I mean, we know from last September, October, that there were, now there weren't in-person classes. There were students in London who did go to bars, and there were outbreaks that way and outbreaks at private gatherings. So, like you said, typically there's the rush to the bars. I don't see why this year would be any different.
Yeah, it might be a little less due to the fears of COVID, but young people are young people. We're young ones as well. I went to Western, by the way, so I do remember that.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, for my PhD. I remember that quite well.
So okay,
yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes,
then.
I do know.
Is there anything else that I should ask you? Like any other anything else you would want people to know? Or?
I think people should be aware that some of these cases are going to be amongst the vaccinated. That's expected.
Right.
But the overwhelming majority will be amongst the unvaccinated, which reinforces the takeaway message that our best way forward is to maximize vaccine uptake, especially amongst young people, because they're going to be the ones socializing the most. But even then, they have to be careful and not curtail the socialization as much as when they socialize, just take precautions.
If I have any follow-ups, can I call you back?
Sure. Email is fastest with me, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you give me your email in that case?
Sure. It's Deonand. So RDEOA. Sorry. Yeah. RDEONAND. Deonand at uottawa.ca.
And how are you usually described in a story like this?
Handsome.
What's the...
And epidemiologist and associate professor at the University of Ottawa.
I really, really appreciate you getting back to me, and I appreciate your insights.
No problem.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.